Are adventure and relaxation on your mind? Jump in the car and head to Fauquier County, Virginia this weekend. Just a short drive from D.C. off I-66 and nestled in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains. Fauquier County has it all, including picturesque hiking trails, Rappahannock River access, plus over 25 wineries, breweries, and cideries. Visit the many unique shops and farm-to-table restaurants of Fauquier County's towns and villages, or take in the many historical attractions suitable for all ages. Check out visitfauquiercounty.com. That's visit FAUQUIER.com. Fauquier County. Find what you love.
Hello and welcome to All Indians Matter. I am Ashraf Engineer. The Indian girl child is born to tremendous disadvantages. For instance, India is the only large country where more baby girls die than baby boys. The gender differential in child survival, according to UNICEF, is 11%. Sex-related abortions continue despite the existence of the Preconception and Prenatal Diagnostics Technique Act. It's a reflection of community attitudes that girls log fewer hospital admissions, an indicator that parents give less attention to newborn girls. In 2017, for instance, 150,000 fewer girls were admitted to special newborn care units than boys. It's a society ridden with patriarchy and structural inequalities for the girl child. Destitute girls lie at the bottom of this very disadvantaged list. What's their life like? Who stands up for them? Who helps them?
All Indians matter.
We have on the show Anuradha Bhosale, chairperson of the NGO Avani, which runs the Avani Children's Home for Girls in Kolhapur. Anuradha ji is a renowned grassroots women's rights and child labour activist based in Kolhapur, where more than 40,000 children are involved in daily labour for local industries. A former child labourer herself, starting at the age of 6, she has spent almost 30 years fighting child exploitation, labour, trafficking and female infanticide. Anuradha ji has facilitated the rescue of 560 child labourers, provided 6,700 nomadic children and school dropouts the right to healthcare and education, organized the construction of schools inside brickyards, and established a residential home for migrant children. Welcome, Anuradha ji.
Thank you.
Anuradha ji, tell us about your childhood. In what circumstances were you born, and how did you become a child labourer?
My number was 11th in the family. We are 6 sisters, and I also have 6 brothers. We had a big family, and my father was a teacher. He had passed 7th standard in a small missionary school. So obviously, since we were many children, it was very challenging for my father to look after us. And due to poverty, most of my brothers and sisters, we had to put ourselves into different types of work, could not continue our studies. But I was only one, I could complete my post graduation because I was very focused on my education. Due to economic condition in the family, I started working from my age of 6. I had to do domestic work in 3-4 families and support my education. I would just work from morning 6 to 9:30, quarter to 10, and then go to school. And then after returning from school, also straight away I went and worked. So in return, I didn't get much money, but I got some food to eat and some support for my education. So with this opportunity, I could complete my secondary and higher secondary education. And then with some people's help, there was one of the priests from our church. He helped me to reach to Nirmala Niketan College because I wanted to do social work and help my family and other poor children, those who are suffering as a child laborers. So my childhood was very painful, very challenging, very difficult, where I was deprived of all the basic necessities which require for any child to grow as a child. So it was very challenging.
Yeah, it sounds that way. And one aspect of it is, of course, the physical labor involved. It's a lot of hard work. But what about the psychological strength needed for that to break out of that child labor and the mode in which you are living? Could you talk us through a little bit of that?
Psychologically, when you work, it becomes too much for any child. to perform lot of responsibilities, also to attend the school. You feel that other children are going in the schools, they have certain amenities, but you are deprived of that. So as a child, it really gives a feeling of discrimination, that some have and some do not have anything. So I always felt that why we don't have these things, why we don't have these means, and why some have these. So that psychological trauma is too bad and very painful as a child when you grow. And I did face that those type of traumatic condition, which were very difficult for me to cope with at that time.
Yes, absolutely. And you were very young also. And so,
Yes.
how did you decide to take up causes like child labor free workspaces and women's rights?
That basically, like, I have finished my 26 years of work here in Maharashtra region with children. So, because of the conditions I went through, I always felt that when I will complete my social work studies, I want to work for the children. Those what situation I lived in, the poverty I faced, the discrimination I faced, that no child should face. I always felt that every child has a right and every child should get what the child needs to grow when he is young. So that needs to be given to every child. And the matter of opportunity, once any child is given opportunity, like I had hard condition, difficult time, challenging things, but then someone gave me opportunity. So providing opportunity is very important. That's what I had been doing that to thousands of children every day.
Yes. Now, you said that child labor is a cyclical phenomenon beginning with women in vulnerable positions. Could you explain what you mean by this?
Yeah, definitely, it's a vicious circle. It's a vicious circle of poverty. And I always tell people that why there are child labors, why there is poverty, because we have child labors. The children, when they are not given their rights to go to school, obviously they cannot develop themselves. Once they grow older, they remain in same condition, they cannot earn good amount. And with that, once they have their children, the child, because of poverty, again goes back to work. So because we have child labors, we have poverty. That's very significant. People say because there is poverty, there is child labor. I say other way, because we have child labor, we have poverty. So it's very important for our country to understand this concept, and we have to work on child labor issues.
Absolutely. And I think that's an extremely powerful point, and not too many people actually think of it that way. So, how did Avani happen?
Avni helps to these children. We had been working last 26 years recognizing this issue, identifying child labors, reaching out to them at the brickyards, at the sugarcane, where the child rights are being violated, where child is being neglected, where child needs care and protection. So we reach out there, and first and foremost, we also tell people, don't show sympathy to any child. If you really want the child to grow, send him to the school. Force the child to go in the school so that the child will learn and get educated. So that's very important. Avni goes, identifies the problem. Those who are child labor, we rescue them, and first and foremost thing that we file cases against the employer. We try to do the implementation of the law, which is very important. Many times you just go and make people aware, that is not going to work. The educated people already know what are the laws and legislation in the place, but they are not implementing those, and government doesn't have time, and they are not firm on that. So we make sure that FIR is filed, and the child is been rescued and put back in the school. The parents are counseled, and then we also conduct rescue operations. We sensitize the system, we strengthen the system, we make government realize how the violation of the children's rights is done in these different districts. So we also do advocacy on these issues. Wherever people need our help, immediate help, the children need, that we go and do. But then for longer term, we keep on doing advocacy with the government. So that's what is our role.
Right. I'm particularly interested in your work with destitute girls. Now, first of all, what circumstances do they live in? And you have witnessed those yourself. What are the greatest challenges in their lives?
The destitute girl we are working with, first of all, they need care and protection. Most of the girls, they come from broken family, from single parent family. Many of them are orphaned, sexually abused. Then many times they are been survival of child marriages. So we work with such girls, and first and foremost they need care and protection. So on that point, we rescue these girls, we bring them with the help of child welfare committee, we take them, bring them to our institution, we do counseling, lot of therapy with them, give most important, we give them enough love. That's very important. So loving them and accepting them as they are and giving them their space to grow, that's what we do. Biggest challenges while working with them, that we have to face challenges from the government, from the parents. Sometimes the abusive fathers, they come and knock at middle of the night and they say, I want to take away my girl. Sometimes mother do that, especially the girls. If the girls are from commercial sex workers, then they want to, as soon as the girls are they get into menstruation and they become adolescent, they want them back, so we have to fight with the mothers. So many challenges, in terms of this we get every day.
Tell us at least one story that has stayed with you of a girl who you have worked with.
We have a very sad story, that two sisters, they were brought to us by one of the social workers, and father was alcoholic, mother didn't have good character, and the family was not together. So these two girls came to our institution. They We gave them lot of protection. They stayed, they were studying well, but all of a sudden father came and said that I want my girls to take for some festival. And with CWC permission, the girls were sent for 2 days. But then after 2 days, he removed his mobile phone card, and we didn't know where the girls were. We kept on phoning. We could not stretch the girl. Finally, we found out after some days that he got them married off with a very lot of more than 30 years old people, and the girls were like 15 and 14. They were landed up getting married, they were forced into married. And these girls, later on, we got to know when one of the girls phoned us. Meantime, COVID came and lockdown happened. She phoned that I am harassed here and I am in such a condition. So we went and rescued her, and now she's studying with us and continuing her education. But this 1.5 years transaction period totally destroyed her. And father took lot of money from that man just to marry off his daughter. We filed a case against him. He's in jail now. But then that trauma the child went through was horrible. And still she's coming to the normal condition. She was very intelligent, she was focused, but then what father did, because of that, her emotionally still she's affected very badly. And what she went through in in-laws house, that she cannot forget. And for us, filing the case under POXO Act was too difficult. Police didn't cooperate. Finally, I have to keep on reminding, and then I said, I will go in the court if you don't put your attention into this. So this has destroyed her life, very badly. We are working with her, but mentally and emotionally, she's affected very badly. So these very sad cases come across, many time in front of us.
Yeah, it sounds very traumatic. Just for the information of the listeners, when Anuradha ji refers to POXO, she is referring to the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act. Anuradha ji, the percentage of the female population aged 6 years and above who have attended school increased from 68.8 in 2015-16 to 71.8 in 2019-21, according to the National Family Health Survey number 5. The question is, how many stayed in school? Now, the same report suggests that only 41% of women aged 15 to 49 have 10 or more years of schooling, as opposed to 50.2% of men. Now, specifically when it comes to destitute girls, how does education change their lives?
With whom all we worked, the education has a very powerful impact on these girls. We have tremendous so many success stories that once they get opportunity to go in the school, finish their schooling, and of course institution like us, so there are so many NGOs, they work to make these girls strong, and to do the care and protection of these girls. Uh, Certainly, once they are given opportunity, they become doctor, they become engineer, they become nurses. And those who cannot complete such professional courses, at least they are confident, they know the issue, how to handle, how to talk, how to lead themselves in the communities, and after once they leave this institution. So education is the key towards their development. And it's not only education, formal education, but non-formal education, skill development education, all these, when people like us give them and make them confident, stand on their feet, go ahead, the quality of leadership quality, communication skill, which will open the door for them to work at the hotels, at different industries, at the hospitals, at various places. So it gives them good opportunity, and that's what is our job, to provide them opportunity you know so education is very important in their life.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what you're saying is love, acceptance, education, opportunity, all of these are extremely important. Anuradha ji, various governments, all state governments actually, have announced schemes for destitute girls. But we know that they haven't worked very well. Where have they fallen short, and what do you think should be done now?
The government has so many various schemes for the welfare of these children, but most of the time I feel that maybe around 60% implementation is done, sometimes below than that. But many schemes are not reaching to the communities where the child requires real help. Now we are working with Bal Sangopani Yojana. We had been working with the government since last 10, 15 years to increase the money, to make sure that the child who is really from the community and is affected needs the help. So the major gap is the implementation. Government does not have proper procedure in place to verify whether these schemes are really reaching to the communities, to the needy children, to the needy people, and there is no proper monitoring system is done. So we have wonderful scheme, we have wonderful laws and legislation, but while implementation, there are no proper people, there is no proper procedure in place. That's what is my experience.
Yes, so how did the Avni Children's Home for Girls come about? And please describe the work it does too.
Avni Children's Home, like we had been working, we started this children's home in 2004, when we were working on brickyard labor camps, where there were so many children working as a child labor, brickyard and sugarcane of farms. So when we started daycare centers and started educating children, we realized that they once they were given opportunity, the children were learning, they were studying, they went back in the school, they continued their schooling once they get back. And we also did a lot of research, once they go back what they do, so they were continuing their education. So the parents felt very comfortable with us, and they said, Madam, please start something for our children, and we will keep the children with you so they can continue their education with your institution. So it was the demand of some of the parents, especially the mothers, those mothers who were single, that please allow our girls to be with you and get the education. So that's the way in 2004 first children's home we started in one of the village in 2005. Lot of flood came, it went off, and then again we had a small place, and now we have bigger place for the girls, especially for the girl child, those who come from different circumstances and very challenging background. So the aim and objective and vision mission of this is to protect every girl child and give them opportunity.
So tell us your favorite story of a girl's life being transformed by her stay at the home.
Yeah, I have several stories, but I would tell one particular, that one of the girl, she was married off at the age of 13 by the parents, and then she didn't want that marriage to happen, and on first night itself she ran away from home. And Avni has night survey where we look for the women and children, those who are sleeping on the road and all. So we found this girl with all henna and good cloth and all, and with the wedding costume and sleeping on the street. So we just picked her up and put her in front of child welfare committee and said this. She said the story. She said, I don't want to go back, I'm married off. So CWC gave allowed her to stay with Avani. That time that girl was just in 8th standard. Of course, it was very traumatized condition for her to come out of that situation, because parents harassed her to get married. And after coming to Avni, after 1.5, 2 months, slowly her psychological condition improved, and that girl has completed her 12th standard exam this year. I didn't allow the parents to come in the institution, and I told her, you are never going to contact back the parents, because I don't want this exploitation to happen again. But we were able to stabilize the girl, give her opportunity, make sure that she continues her education, and now these girls want to become a chartered accountant. She had completed her education till 12th in accountancy. So these are some of the very powerful stories which have. Some girls have become, one of the girls became air hostess, another two girls became nurses, those who came from the same type of situation. So the giving opportunity at that time, and doing proper psychological counseling, helping them emotionally, giving them personal attention, loving them, caring about them, and acceptance as the child is. That's very important. That's what Avni does differently. And one of our girl is now a flight attendant. I mean, she has become air hostess. She had very, very challenging background, and today she is flying in the air. So these are some of the cases, which give us lot of hopes to go ahead.
Absolutely. So what's next for Avni? What are your plans?
We have in these districts, there are so many, see, lot of migration takes place, girls are trafficked. We would like to rescue maximum girls. We want to do still lot of advocacy with the government, sensitize them, make system strong, strengthen them. And we would like to, we have home for the girls, which is like palace for them. We took 8.5 years to build this palace. And the grandson of Mahatma Gandhi, Dr. Arun Gandhi, the great grandson Tushar Bhai Gandhi, they loved this work. They realized this is the work of the Mahatma Gandhi. Poverty, when the poverty will go off, when you educate these children, when you work last person of the society, and these are the children, they are the last persons of the society. So they are supporting us. With their support, we were able to construct this nice home for them. But we would like to expand, and now we have 40 girls, and many more wants admissions, especially the child marriage survivors. So this is all going to be open space to accept them and help them to develop themselves. So we'll work more on that. And we also would like, now many boys are coming. Earlier we had boys home, but because of the resources, we had to close that down. We didn't have money, we didn't have building. Now I would like to start the migrant children, especially for them, one home for the boys. and work with the boys, because there is so much of potential working with the boys. They are never bad, but the way they are treated, the treatment, when they get bad treatment, they become bad. So I would like to do a lot of experiment on that also and work with them.
So, Anuradha ji, here's a question I ask all my guests at the end of the show. Why do you do this work?
No, as I always mention that I do this because I feel what situation I went through, no child should go. And opportunity I got, I should, as an Indian, I should give opportunity to others. Those who help me, because of them, I am here, and my responsibility to help others. And I feel so much for this country, because this country has given me so much. And I am always worried that we have completed 76 years of freedom, but still children have to do such a labor work. Their rights are violated. If this situation remains like that, many are school dropouts, many are child labor, many don't, their rights are violated. What will be the situation of our country after some years? We were a developing country, but now we are falling into third world country because of this situation. So I, as an Indian, feel that I love my country, I love everything of this country, but I would like to rescue as children and give them their rights.
Anuradha ji, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all for listening. Please visit allindiansmatter.in, that's ALLINDIANSMATTER.in, for more columns and audio podcasts. You can follow me on Twitter at Ashraf Engineer, that's ASHRAFENGINER, and All Indians Count, that's ALLINDIANSCOUNT. Search for the All Indians Matter page on Facebook. On Instagram, the handle is All Indians Matter. Email me at editor@allindiansmatter.in. Catch you again soon.
Michael J. for Hope for the Warriors. Started back in '06 at Camp Lejeune. Military families witnessing the effects of war on their loved ones. Now, almost 20 years later, they've aided over 53,000 service members, veterans, and families with confidential, high-quality behavioral health care services at little or no cost to post-9/11 vets and their families. Over 91% of every dollar donated goes directly to the programs. If you're as concerned about our heroes as I am, go to hopeforthewarriors.org.